You ever feel like you're just shouting into the void with your marketing? You've got this amazing product, right? But the message? It just doesn't seem to be hitting home. Well, here's the thing. The problem probably isn't what you're selling, it's who you're trying to sell it to. So today, let's crack the code on that with a really powerful framework: segmentation, targeting, and positioning.
Okay, so you've got something great to sell. What's the first instinct? For most of us, it's to just cast the widest net possible, right? We want to tell everybody about it. But let's be honest, does that ever really work?
The hard truth is, when you try to talk to everyone, you usually end up connecting with, well, no one. Your message just gets so generic, so watered down, it gets completely lost in all the noise out there. There's got to be a better way, right? And guess what? There is. It's this awesome three-step framework called STP. That's segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Just think of it like your secret weapon, your guide to going from this kind of fuzzy, broad audience to a laser-focused customer base that actually listens.
All right, let's dive in. First up, we have segmentation. And honestly, the best way to think about this is that you're creating a map of the entire market. You're just getting a clear view of the whole landscape before you even think about taking a single step.
So what is segmentation really? It's pretty simple. You're just taking one big, messy market and breaking it down into these smaller, much more manageable groups. And the people in each group, they all share similar characteristics or needs. Now, here's the key thing to get. You're not actually creating these groups out of thin air. No. You're just identifying them. They already exist. They're these natural clusters of people inside the bigger market. It's kind of like you're an astronomer, and you're just discovering the constellations that were already there in the night sky.
Okay, so how do we actually find these groups? Well, you can slice up the market in a bunch of different ways. You've got the classics like demographics, age, income, that kind of stuff, or geography, where people live. But where it gets really powerful, and I mean a game changer, is when you start looking at their behavior, like how they actually buy things. Or even better, what specific problem are they desperately trying to solve?
All right, let's make this super real. We're going to use an example for the rest of this explainer, a coffee subscription service. I mean, the market for coffee is massive, right? But think about it. Inside that huge market, you've got these really distinct groups. You've got your busy professionals who just need that quick morning jolt. You've got students trying to pull an all-nighter. You have remote workers who really want quality coffee at home. And you even have people just looking to buy a nice gift. See, they all want coffee, but for totally different reasons.
Okay, step one is done. You've got your map laid out with all the different segments. So what's next? Well, now you've got to choose your path. And this is targeting. Targeting is, at its core, all about making a decision, a choice. Because look, you just can't go after everyone at the same time. That's probably the fastest way to burn through your entire budget. So you have to look at your map and decide which one of these groups is the absolute best fit for my business, right now.
This is really that moment of focus. You're looking at all these potential paths, right? All these different segments. But you make a strategic choice. You decide to pour all your energy, all your resources into just one. It's all about learning to say no to a bunch of good options so you can say a big yes to the absolute best one.
So how do you pick the right one? Here's the most important part. It's not always about just picking the biggest group. That's a classic mistake. A great target segment has a few things going for it. They've got a real, painful problem that your product can solve. They're actually willing to pay to solve it. And this is so key. They're a group you can easily and effectively reach with your marketing.
Okay, let's jump back to our coffee subscription example. We've looked at our map, we've seen the students, the professionals, and we decide to target busy remote workers. Now, why them? Well, think about it. They drink coffee every single day. They absolutely value the convenience of having it delivered, and we've got a good idea of how to reach them, maybe through places like LinkedIn or ads on websites about productivity. It's just a perfect strategic fit.
And that brings us to the grand finale, our third and final step, positioning. So you've mapped the market, you've chosen your path. Now, you have to give that customer you've chosen a really good reason to walk down that path with you.
Positioning is really all about one thing: perception. It is the art of defining exactly how you want your target customer to think and feel about your brand, especially when they compare you to all the other options out there. It's that unique little piece of real estate you own inside their mind.
Let me show you what weak positioning looks like. For our coffee company, it might be something like, great coffee, delivered monthly. I mean, it's not wrong, but it's so vague, right? It could describe literally any coffee subscription on the planet. It gives our target audience, that busy remote worker, absolutely no reason to pick us over anyone else.
But now, check this out. This is what strong positioning sounds like. The easiest way for remote workers to enjoy fresh specialty coffee without wasting time choosing beans. Wow, see the difference? It speaks directly to our target. It uses words they care about, like easiest, and without wasting time. It hits on their actual pain points. It even says specialty coffee, which tells them it's high quality. This isn't just some generic slogan. It's a promise made just for them.
So, you might be wondering, why go through all this trouble? Why do all this work? It's simple. Because in the super crowded world we live in today, clarity beats noise every single time. This whole process, from start to finish, is about getting crystal clear. And the benefits here are so practical. I'm talking about things like building features your customers actually use, writing messages that don't just get ignored, but actually resonate with people, picking the right channels to advertise on, and maybe most importantly, you stop wasting your time and your money. So let's just recap this whole thing. Put it all together. Step 1, segmentation. That's where you reveal the map and you can finally see all the different types of customers out there.
Then you've got Step 2, targeting. That's where you look at your map and you choose your path, focusing all of your efforts on reaching one single destination.
And finally, Step 3, positioning. This is where you give that customer a powerful, compelling reason to care, a reason to walk that path with you and not with anybody else.
Which really just leaves us with one last super important question for you to think about. It's not who could I reach? The real question is, who am I really trying to reach? Because once you can answer that, well, that changes everything.